Hello guys, Ezra here and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Rebirth video. And on today's video, I want to talk about my expectation for part 3 because I know that in the previous video I planned to do 3 parts, but I feel like the theory videos I don't really want to do that, because I don't have the energy or like the vibe to do that, because I feel like a lot of people has already discussing their theory on their own, and I feel like nobody really knows what actually happened because that's the whole point. It was supposed to be vague, and I thought that, well, I might as well. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about that, because I feel like it's already outdone at this point, and I just want to talk about my expectation for part 3 now. What is my favorite scene that I was expecting in part 3, and how they're going to expand that, and how they're going to touch on certain aspect of the story and certain character as well, So again, there will be timestamp in the video, guys, for each segment. So I think for the first segment, I want to start immediately with Cloud's mind, because like that scene alone in the live stream between Cloud and Tifa was actually my favorite scene in the original Final Fantasy VII. And I feel like they're not going to do the exact same scene again in part 3. I think they're going to try to find a way to expand the scenes, And don't get me wrong, the original scene is going to be there because that's what Rebirth are, like 95% of the game is literally the original Final Fantasy VII, and some parts of it was expanded in a way. So I feel like this scene right here, which is the most important scenes according to the devs, which makes sense, for Cloud's character, they're going to try and find a way to expand the scenes, So I feel like the original scene in the Mount Nibel scenes with Cloud, but it's going to happen because this time we are going to see Cloud's perspective, because I know that people might make an argument that in Gongaga Tifa already knows the truth, because like the original scene is actually Tifa knowing the truth what happens to Mount Nibel, So but I feel like they're still going to do that again, but this time showing Cloud's perspective and how he was feeling throughout the scenes, like taking the blame for not saving Tifa, Tifa's dad Brian blaming him in a way. So like it's a really hurtful moment for our protagonist, So I feel like it's gonna be a big moment again in part 3. However, here's how I think they're going to expand the scenes. First of all, I think Tifa is going to show or is going to share her own memories with Cloud, because like clearly these two doesn't know each other that well. However, they care for each other. So I feel like this is the way for Cloud and Tifa to get to know each other through the live stream in a way, because they are sharing their memory with one another. I think that's going to happen. And also the Trace of Two Past novel, some of the elements from that light novel is going to be presented in this live stream form in a way, because I think, yeah, like why wouldn't you do that? Because I think it's like a perfect opportunity to do that, in my opinion. And also the next big thing that I think they should have done is actually showing Cloud's and Tifa's parent in the live stream. Because here's the thing, in the original scenes, even though that it was like a triumphant moment for Cloud, like finally realizing who he was, and Tifa also realizing who Cloud was, it was a good moment, it's a great moment. However, there is not enough closure in my opinion, because the rest of the Nibelheim locals never actually they never appear in the original game, so I feel like Cloud has some closure with Tifa, which is, yeah, makes sense. Tifa is the most important one. However, I feel like it's not entirely a closure, because like the rest of the Nibelheim locals are blaming Cloud, and granted they probably already know because it's a live stream, and live stream is a memory, so they already know. So I feel like the way they should expand the scenes on in part 3 is that, having their ghosts essentially appear, like Tifa's dad Brian could apologize to Cloud, saying that, oh, Cloud, I'm sorry for blaming you. Like, you were there for my daughter when the other 3 kids was running away, I apologize for that. And also the mayor could also apologize. And maybe the rest of the Nibelheim locals this time around is going to cheer for Cloud and Tifa, because they are going to try and stop the meteor, assuming it's gonna happen, right? For try to stop Sephiroth and saving the planet, and obviously we get to see an emotional reunion between Cloud and his mother Claudia, and of course Tifa and her parents, but especially Tifa and her mom, Tia, I think that's her name, which is from the novel, and Tia's voice was heard in the Gongaga scenes. So I feel like, so the scene alone in Gongaga, to me, it seems like a prototype for what's going to happen in part 3. However, there's also like a teaser that I think they're going to show the parents essentially ghosts in the live stream, because I think that makes the most sense to me. And that's how both Cloud and Tifa has had their full closure, because Cloud obviously not just Tifa already knowing the truth, but also like the parents, knowing the truth, what happened on Mount Nabel. So I think that's like makes sense that they have to apologize to Cloud, for accusing him in the wrong way, for not trusting him. So it's like, yeah, there's gonna be a full closure for Cloud. And also it's gonna be a full closure for Tifa, because finally Tifa reunite with her mother, because the incident of the Mount Nabel happened because of Tifa want to see her mother again. So I think this is the perfect way to give Tifa a really huge closure, because now she finally reunites with her mother in the live stream, and her mother could encourage her to, again, be strong to fight Sephiroth, and I also imagine Claudia and Tia is probably going to have some, some funny moments, I guess, because I think they're going to try to tease Cloud and Tifa being together in a way. I think that's gonna happen. I think, who knows? Because that was from the novel, I think, right? Because in the novel, both Claudia and Tia was actually best friends. They're besties. So I think I could imagine a scene where the two of them trying to tease both Cloud and Tifa for being together. I think that's a huge possibility, but who knows? I hope they do that, because I think that just like makes sense to me, having a full-on closure for both Cloud and Tifa. So I hope they do this. So we'll see what happens. Regardless, I'm hyped to see that, since it's gonna be way bigger than before, because I think Cloud is gonna be way more evil in part 3 in the first half of the game. So I think the triumphant moment is gonna be even bigger than the original game, especially if they expanded the scenes. Like I said before, that will be perfection, man. At least in my opinion, like, dude, that would be perfect for both Cloud and Tifa. So I think they should do that. So again, we'll see what's gonna happen. And I think the next scenes that I want to talk about is actually the Junon attack scenes, because we see Junon in Rebirth for the first time. You can feel the scale of like the Highwind, the Junon, the cities, and obviously the Sister Ray, because I think that's the whole point of the remake trilogy, showing the scale of everything, because in the original game, you don't really get that sense, because it's a polygon form, so like you can see that it was supposed to be a big place, but you don't really feel the scale. However, in Rebirth, it was like pretty clear that they are showing the scales on each and every location, and I can feel that especially in Junon. And I cannot wait to see the Sapphire weapon attack on Junon, how epic that would have been, and I feel like to see how big the weapon was, man, because like we never see the actual weapon in Rebirth. We see like the whale weapons, but they're not exactly like the original weapon that was like a Godzilla size weapon in a way. So I was like, man, I cannot wait to see the attack scenes on Junon. Like you see in the original game, like Junon basically like a fortress. They're gonna be firing everything at the Sapphire weapon. We see like the Sister Ray firing at the weapon. Like it's gonna be super epic, man, and I cannot wait to see that scenes, man. Like holy shit, and of course Tifa and Scarlet is gonna have a slap battle, so it's like, yeah, there has to be there. And also we're gonna see an iconic scene, seeing the Highwind for the first time, or I guess like controlled by Cid this time around. And we also see Tifa jumping into the Highwind, so I think that's gonna be a great scene, just like in the original game. And I cannot wait to see how they're going to direct that, and I cannot wait to see the scale of everything, man. Like it's gonna be super epic, And I think the next one I want to discuss about the characters in part 3 now. I think the first one I'm gonna be starting with the war between Shinra and Wutai, because I think Yuffie is gonna be the key to stopping the war between Shinra and Wutai, because Yuffie in Rebirth, like you can tell that she loves war, unlike Tifa and Aerith, because I think there is a scene in Rebirth where she tell the game basically, hey, like the border is closing, because there's gonna be a war coming. And Yuffie is pretty much the only one that says that, oh good, a war is coming, great, but I feel like Tifa and Aerith says that, oh, war isn't worth celebrating, because like everybody suffers because of it, so I think that's gonna be a huge character development for Yuffie this time around, where she realized that war is obviously bad, and she's going to try to take over Wutai, which is her own country. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think Yuffie is like the princess of Wutai, right? So like that's her birthright, I think, to basically rule Wutai, maybe. So I don't know, I think they're going to try to expand on that scene alone, on Wutai. I think Wutai is gonna be a big location in part 3, and of course it's gonna be a crucial moment for Yuffie's character development in a way. And also on top of the war, besides Yuffie stopping it by taking over Wutai, I also cannot wait to see the Don Corneo scenes in Wutai, where he tries to kidnap both Elena and Yuffie. Because here's the thing, Elena and Yuffie are so similar, you can tell the similarities in their personalities, because they're both the youngest one in their team members. And I cannot wait to see the chemistry between the two of them, because like these two are going to work together to stop Don Corneo. Same things with the rest of the Turk member, like Ruth and Reno, because like they are teaming up with Cloud and the team to stop Don Corneo and save Elena and Yuffie. And I cannot wait to see the chemistry between Elena and Yuffie, and hopefully they become besties as well, maybe in the end of the game, who knows. But yeah, that is certainly a possibility, and I cannot wait to see how they're going to handle the chemistry between the two characters. And of course, Yuffie's character development, man, because I think that's like the obvious thing they could do in part 3, So yeah, I cannot wait for that. And of course, the next one is gonna be about Cid, because I think here's the thing, Cid is a different character in Rebirth, that much is obvious, because Cid is essentially a Han Solo in this game, but here's the thing, I think there is a possibility for bringing back the old Cid's personality in part 3, because why? Well, Aerith is dead, right? And I think that they try to build the connection between Cid and Ifalna and Aerith as well. I think there might be a reason they're doing that, and there might be a bigger reason in part 3. However, the one reason that I can think about is that, well, they're going to try to bring back the old personality for Cid, where he's essentially an asshole, but this time there is a reason why he was an asshole, where, well, Aerith just died, so he was depressed, he was stressful because he, like he's dead, right? She's dead, right? So I think there is a possibility we could see Cid being an asshole in part 3, maybe when we get to Rocket Time, because I think Rocket Time is gonna be there, because like they fixed the tiny Bronco by the end of the game. So I think it's most obvious that we're going to get the exact same scene in the tiny Bronco again, where the Bronco basically broke down again in part 3, and I think Cid is gonna make some jokes that, oh man, I just fixed this baby, man, and then like it broke again. God damn it, because I think that is a huge possibilities about that, and I think the exact same scene in the Rocket Town is going to happen, because we didn't see Rocket Town in this game, and I think they're going to save that for part 3. That much is obvious, and the tiny Bronco is flying again by the end of Rebirth. So I think the exact same scene is going to happen again in the Rocket Town, where the tiny Bronco broke down again, So I think that's gonna be pretty awesome to see that since directions, in part 3. So yeah, and of course the next character is Vincent, and I think Vincent is gonna be I have nothing much to say about Vincent besides saying that he's cool, I think we're gonna see a more backstory in Vincent, We're probably going to see Lucretia backstory, and tying that to Sephiroth, obviously, that much is obvious, So I really cannot wait to see how they're going to handle Vincent's character in part 3, because I think Cloud and Vincent has a good chemistry as well, because they're both loners, right? Except maybe Vincent is much more a loner than Cloud in a way. Maybe, I don't know. Or like I said, the personality is a bit different, at least in my opinion. So I think that's really cool. I kind of wait to see how, Vincent's gameplay in part 3, which might be similar to Rufus' gameplay, because Rufus is using a gun, right? So yeah, who knows? It's gonna be exciting. And since we are talking about characters here, we obviously have to talk about Cloud Strife himself. I cannot wait to see how they're going to make Cloud Strife, evil, because I think we get to see a teaser for that in the Temple of the Ancient. We even we obviously see a teaser for how Cody Christians is going to portray the evil Cloud in a way. But again, it's just a teaser, and I cannot wait to see Cody Christian's performance as evil Cloud in part 3, because I think he's going to nail the role big time, And yeah, I think Cloud is going to be way more evil in part 3, and more than the original game in a way, because in the original game he does turn. However, I think in part 3, he's going to be way more evil than before, and it's going to be way more dramatic, So I think it's going to be exciting to see. And also, Cloud is holding this empty Materia, and I think Maximilian Dude has an interesting theory saying that, oh, this blank Materia essentially is going to be Cloud's memory, because they do explain that the Materia was actually made from memory, and which is why this Materia was blank, because Aerith is forget Ifalna essentially, because the whisper makes her forget about Ifalna, her mother, So like she lost her memory, and that's why the Materia is blank. So I think when Cloud regain his memory, that's where the Materia is going to fill up, Or I guess like Max is the one who said that, and I think yeah, that theory makes sense to me. I think that's really cool, seeing the Materia basically becoming a weapon, obviously, because that's what Materia is, it's a weapon for our character. So I think that we makes 100% sense if Cloud actually regaining his memory, and then the Materia starting to fill up, and then he's probably gonna gain some other memories from the other timeline, and that's going to change the materia again, and Cloud becomes much more powerful to stop Sephiroth. So that was like a really cool theory, by Maximilian Dude. So I believe that, I think that's the direction they're trying to go there in part 3. So that's really cool. And also the next thing that I want to talk about is obviously Zack and Aerith, because I think part 3 might start similar to how Rebirth started, starting with Zack, right? So I think it's a possibility that in part 3 we're going to start again with Zack, and I personally want to see Zack and Aerith, teaming up, against Sephiroth, I think that might happen, but I want to see Zack and Aerith actually go through their own adventures, where they have their own date, they also visit Gongaga, so like I want that scenes to happen, but I don't think so, because there was like it was too fan fiction in a way. But still, I want to see Zack and Aerith teaming up, I feel like there's a missed opportunity if you don't exactly have the two of them team up, because these two never team up. Zack and Aerith does met in 5 years ago, in Crisis Core events, but this time Aerith is a fighter, so I want to see Zack and Aerith actually teaming up, maybe throughout the game, because I feel like teaming up for one scene is gonna be super big, obviously, but I want to see the two of them actually team up throughout the game. But I don't think that's gonna happen, because I think they're going to save the reunion between Zack and Aerith in part 3, and maybe in the end of the game, maybe when they reunite in the live stream finally, because I think Zack is going to die in part 3. I think that's kind of obvious for me, because like, I don't think they're going to keep Zack alive, even though I want I want him to have a happy life with Aerith and then meeting his parents again, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Zack is going to die again, and yeah, man, I think that's where they're going to reunite in the live stream, but I hope that the reunion between Zack and Aerith happens earlier in the game, so we can see the two of them actually teaming up and have their own moments before it was eventually taken away from them, And I can imagine the similar scene just like in the ending of Rebirth, where Aerith just like walked through a portal and assists Cloud against Sephiroth. I can see that Aerith is going to walk through a portal in the alternate timeline to help Zack fighting an enemy or something like that, fighting Sephiroth, Genova or something like that. That would be really, really cool, and the two of them have their own synergy abilities. That would also really, really cool, and I hope they do that, But I guess we'll see what's going to happen in part 3 now, and I also hope that Zack is going to, I guess, visit Gongaga in a way, because I think it was kind of teased in a cutscene before, in the Zack's timeline, obviously, where he says home, because I think he's referring to Gongaga, and then like I want to see Zack and his parents actually reunite in a way, because I think that would make the death scene even sadder, because like you already reunite, but I feel like, well, he's gonna die again, like he's gonna die, so this is gonna be the true goodbye to his parents, essentially, So I hope that happen, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that, because I think Cloud is going to be the one who has to tell the truth to Zack's parents, because in Gongaga, in these scenes in Rebirth, Cloud doesn't even know Zack at the time, so obviously he can't tell anything to Zack's parents, and Aerith doesn't really want to tell anything to Zack's parents, because obviously she feels bad for his parents, so I'm really wondering if we're going to see Zack and Zack and his parents actually reunite in some way, and then eventually is going to be taken away because Zack is going to die again, or Cloud is going to be the one who basically tell the truth to Zack's parents in Gongaga, because I think that is most likely what's going to happen, because I don't think they're going to give Zack a happy moment in part 3, because well, they love to torture Zack, so I don't think they're going to give Zack some happy moments. I hope they do in part 3, because like I want to see that fan service moment, essentially, Zack and Aerith basically teaming up, throughout the game, and then Zack reunite with his parents, I want to see that. But I don't think they're going to do that, because that feels like a fan fiction, so yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens in part 3, but so yeah, it's pretty insane that Final Fantasy VII has pretty much take over my life, for like a month, and that's just insane, man. Because I feel like before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, I was like, okay, fine, it's nothing much is going on, but when the game came out, I was super occupied to basically waiting anxiously for Maximilian Dude to stream the game. Like every single day I check his Twitter to see that if he's live or not, and I'm just like, damn, dude, I've been doing that for like a month, and yeah, it's been pretty insane, that the entire months of March is essentially me dedicating myself to basically watch, like watch a live stream for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which is like, okay, like that's probably pretty stupid to some of you, but I did that, for like a month. And it's like, okay, well, I finally happy that it's actually finished, so I think I'm now ready to see the post game for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and I'm really hoping people are still discussing this game, or at least like talking about it, what's their favorite moments, and then maybe their expectation for part 3, which already been discussed before. But I'm really hoping that people are just like talking about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, because I feel like right now, if you release like a new game or like a new movie, usually that it lasts for like a week or two, and then that's it, no one really cares anymore, but I feel like I remember back in 2020, when Final Fantasy 7 Remake came out, people are talking about it for like 2 months. It's insane, and so yeah, I hope that the hype for the game hasn't died down yet, but I guess, I don't know, it kind of did. To be honest, it's been a month, so I guess it makes sense, right? So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's my expectation for part 3, guys. And again, let me know in the comment section below, what is your expectation for part 3? Do you guys agree with some of my ideas, how they're going to expand the some of the scenes that I mentioned before, or do you guys have any other ideas that is actually way better than mine, then share them in the comment section below, guys, because I would love to hear about that. What is your favorite scene that you are waiting for in part 3, so let me know all that in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, usual stuff, and stay tuned for more videos in the future, guys. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.